Hello, everyone. I must welcome you all to Future You, Set Your Career Compass Right with Experts Insight. And I'm Kalyani, your host for today's webinar. So today we will be talking about careers in finance, focusing on investment banking with our speaker, Mr. Ketan J. Shah, a managing director of Panini Advisory Services Private Limited. He's an IIM Ahmedabad alumnus, and he has held leadership positions at top firms such as Edelweiss Financial Services, ICICI Securities, Barclays Capital, Ernst& Young, Daiwa Capital, SBI Capital Markets, and so on. So in this webinar, you will find out about life as an investment banker, career trajectory, the job opportunities that are available, skill sets that are required to excel, and more. So welcome, Mr. Ketan J. Shah, and thank you so much for being here today with us.
Yeah, thanks, Kalyani. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's start. We'll start from your career trajectory, right from your IIM Ahmedabad days to becoming an investment banker. Like very briefly, like the salient point.
Yeah, I went into investment banking straight from my from IMA. From campus. I joined SBI Caps because that used to be in the early 90s. That was the leading investment bank of the day. I worked with SBI Caps for 7 years across different regions and different departments. I did a brief stint in the corporate sector with the Torrent Group. Then I moved to Bombay. I set up the infrastructure desk at ICICI Securities. I also worked with Ernst& Young briefly. I worked with Barclays Capital. I was one of the sort of leaders at Edelweiss, and then I was the country head of investment banking at Daiwa. So spent about 25 odd years in that space, and then I have now set up my own boutique of investment banking. It's called Panini Advisors,
Right.
And that's really about me.
If you could talk a little bit about the different roles you have had across the different firms you worked in, like maybe how different it was from your first job or from SBI, how different it was working at SBI, and what was your role there, and how different it was at Barclays Capital and ENY.
Okay, so I think in my case, I think my career also followed the trajectory that we as a nation followed. Because India really opened up and the markets really took off in a big way post 2003. And prior to that, it was the economy hadn't really opened up in that sense. Although the first opening ups happened in the early 90s. And as because financial markets are very tuned to global phenomenon. So business also can change very rapidly.
Right.
And my career trajectory as well, followed the same format. SBI Caps was more on IPOs and project finance and advisory. And then in India, there was a big boom that started around 2003. That's when again I set up the infra desk at ICICI Securities. So I led many companies for their IPOs. We raised private equity. We did some debt syndications. We helped some companies on their M&A plans. Then I moved to Barclays, which was a global investment bank. The advantage of global investment banks was that they can write their own checks. So we funded many LBOs and we raised some private equity funds as well. Then again, I moved to Edelweiss, which was again going back to private equity, IPOs, QIPs, which is capital market placements, and M&As. Then I moved to Daiwa, which was a Japanese investment bank. So I did a lot of cross-border M&A between India and Japan, India and Europe, and in that form. We did an FCCB, which is a convertible bond. We did a Uridashi bond offering, which is a Japanese bond offering. So again, and now at Panini, we are doing a lot of angel funding, VC funding, growth equity, M&A. We've helped an Indian company raise money from a large German player. We've sold a business to a Middle East player. We've raised funding. So investment banking has lots and lots of different dimensions.
Right.
Yeah, in my long career, I've done practically all of it.
What exactly would be the role of an investment banker?
So let me take you back to conceptually, what does an investment banker do? Essentially, you have companies which are called corporates, okay, and then you have different type of financiers. When I say different type of financiers, there are funds which provide equity in the listed markets. There are banks which lend money to corporates, which is pure debt.
Right.
There are also private equity funds which again provide equity, but they provide it to the unlisted companies. So there are different forms of capital and money which is looking to be deployed to the best guys on the corporate side. And there are different corporates. Some are small, some are large, some are mid cap, who want different types of funding.
Okay.
The job of an investment banker is to assess which is the best form of capital or funding for a company on the corporate side, and then identify which financier will be willing to provide that to this company.
Okay.
So an investment banker is essentially an intermediary who bridges and helps in capital allocation to the investors. They showcase opportunities. Guys, here is a great company. Why don't you provide your funds to them? And to the corporate, they bring in the money. So it's a kind of an intermediary, a bridge role, that's essentially what investment banking is about.
Right.
The qualified engineer, anyone can be an investment banker. It does you could be an engineer, you could be an arts graduate, you could be a commerce graduate. Anyone, obviously, people who understand finance is important. But beyond that, there is no there is no a sort of bar that you can't be an investment banker, with a particular degree.
So how did you decide that you wanted to be an investment banker?
So I had a commerce background, and I was always very keenly interested in the capital markets. And if you're interested in the capital markets, typically there are two roles: asset manager or investment banker.
Okay.
And I chose to be the investment banker.
How different is an asset manager from an investment banker?
So the asset manager side, as I said, is really the side on the funds where they take the investment decisions. So on the asset management side, they decide, okay, let us invest in this company, or let us lend to this company, or if you're a private equity fund, let us provide equity to this unlisted company. So the asset management side takes the investment decisions. The investment banking side takes the bridging, does the role of bridging and helping the corporates raise funds and helping the investors allocate the capital.
Right. Okay, so but since you are anyway, you already had a finance background, commerce background. So, but what about like most of our audience, our attendees, the ones preparing for CAT 2021 and CAT 2022, and a lot of students they are from engineering background. Do you think for them to become investment banker, is it very difficult? Should they do like a course?
Not
like
at all.
Those CFAs and all that. I mean, do they need to do any certification?
Not at all. Obviously, there is some learning to be done on the accounting and balance sheet side, but I have had a lot of friends who made excellent investment bankers. Okay. A lot of engineering friends who have really done very well in investment banking. So I don't think being an engineer is a limitation. I'm seeing one question. Maybe I'll just repeat.
Sure. Exactly the role of an investment banker.
So as I said, in the financial market, in the corporate world, there are two types of groups. The first group is the corporates itself, a company itself. It could be a Tata Group company, it could be a Birla Group company, it can be Amazon, it can be a startup, it can be there. So there are, this is called companies or corporates. They do different businesses. And on the second category, you have asset managers who invest. So you have an HDFC mutual fund, you may have a private equity fund, you may have a hedge fund, you may have a lender, a Barclays a Capital, or a Deutsche or a Citigroup,
Right.
so or an ICICI. So you have two groups. One group provides money either in form of equity or debt,
Mm.
and the other group wants this money,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So, and the investment banker's role is to marry the two, right?
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So for to the corporate, they provide, they bring the right investors,
Mm.
and to the investors, they bring the right corporates to do that role.
How to get into investment banking as a graduate? Is there any other way than the traditional MBA path?
So honestly, the MBA, because investment banking is a very sought after competitive job,
Hmm.
an MBA adds to your qualifications.
Hmm.
Also, it is important to understand certain basic conceptual aspects around the capital asset pricing model, the Black-Scholes model, how options are valued, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So to that extent, it is better to do an MBA or a postgraduate degree in finance. It could be a CFA, it could be something else. But I know that a lot of junior people
Hmm.
have got into the lower rungs of investment banking without any graduate degree.
Okay.
But eventually they do go on to do an MBA, to sort of get into the senior positions.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I have another question. How to become an investment banking analyst? How different is it from being an equity research analyst? There are a few questions also pertaining to that. So if you can just first tell us the difference between the two.
So as I said, if you recollect in the capital markets side, I said there are two roles.
Hmm.
One is that of an asset
Yes.
manager,
Yeah.
right? And the other is of an investment banking side. The
Right.
asset manager puts money to work and decides whom to lend to. The investment banker does the marrying part, bringing the best opportunities to the asset manager,
Okay.
and vice versa. So an equity research analyst is doing and is studying for a role to grow to be an asset manager. So he's the equity research analyst is part of the asset management side, and the investment banking analyst is part of the investment banking side, and he's basically assisting the senior investment bankers in their role. He's analyzing companies, he's showcasing a lot of stuff. Basically in investment banking is a kind of a marketing role. So you do a lot of analysis to show that the company you are raising funds for is eligible for, it's attractive, so you do a lot of analysis, you compare the two, and then you tell the asset manager that, hey, this is a great opportunity.
Okay. Hmm. Uh, um, could you mention some of the companies that recruit investment bankers? Apart from the ones that you've already worked in.
In India, there would be almost 100 investment banks right now. So you have the MNCs, all the multinational banks, Citi, Deutsche, Barclays, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch. You have Credit Suisse, UBS, Daiwa, Nomura, etc. Then you have the Indian investment banking houses. So you'll have Avendas, Edelweiss, Kotak, HDFC, SBI Caps, and all. And then you will have boutique firms like the ones that Panini is heading. Yeah, so you have lots of investment banks. You also have the big four audit firms also have investment banking arms. So Ernst and Young, Deloitte, KPMG also have their own arms which are providing investment banking services as well. So you have lots of you have specialized boutique investment banks which only focus on one sector.
Hmm.
Somebody is only doing technology, somebody is only doing pharma, somebody is doing all sectors.
Hmm.
And then you also have product related investment banking.
Hmm.
It could be equities, it could be debt, it could be listed equity, it could be private equity. So different firms focus on different things.
Do chartered accountants have an advantage over a MBA finance person in investment banking?
No, I don't think so. There is any. Maybe there is some initial 1 or 2 month advantage in terms of understanding stuff. As long as you are good with numbers, there's no problem with that.
Okay. What is the difference between a front office job or a back office job in investment bank?
So typically, again, in an investment bank, the roles are split into two.
Hmm.
The front office typically goes out and gets clients.
Okay.
Because getting clients is one of the tough. It's a very competitive world. All good clients are chased by different investment banks.
Hmm.
So the front office role is to actually bring in business, what you call a mandate.
Hmm.
Uh, and the back office role is thereafter to support, once a mandate has come in, to sort of support all that is required, the pitches, the PowerPoint presentations, the analysis, the rollouts, the information memorandums, etc.
Hmm. There's a question that I'm working with HDFC right now. What should be the ideal path towards investment banking? Should I go for CFA or should I prepare for IIM admission?
So I will answer. I'll say that a generic advice would be to whatever you do, you should go to the best in that field, right? And this applies to not just investment banking, wherever it is. So I don't think a CFA is either mandatory or necessary in that sense. If you can do an MBA from a leading institute, that would definitely count quite a bit.
Okay.
So yeah, but a CA, you don't need to do both for sure. You don't need to do both a CFA and an MBA. So as long as you can do an MBA from a top run college, that's good enough. If you've done a CA, you don't need to do another MBA to do investment banking.
Okay.
Okay,
So, how do you move from within as an investment banker? How do you move up in from a entry level to a senior level? What are the steps?
So typically, there are four, positions in an investment banking firm. Then different firms use different nomenclature, but basically, you start with an analyst. So analyst is the junior most guy in the year whose job is to basically do the research and the analysis around the business, get data, because you to collate a lot of research and information on the company, on the industry, on the competitors, on valuations and all that. Once you get a little more experience, you become an associate. Basically, associate is an experienced analyst. The work remains the same, but you sort of you have now done so you can even guide a few analysts on what to do. And then you basically reach a a sort of mid-level role, which is either called a vice president or so, where basically you oversee a team of different analysts and associates for a specific transaction.
Okay.
So the vice president or whatever AVP, different nomenclatures, he leads the execution, what is called the execution team.
Okay.
So it is not his responsibility to originate, or nor is it his responsibility to say get a client, but all the back office execution is supposed to be his responsibility.
Okay.
And then you have the front office, which is the senior most positions, and depending on how sort of competent you are, you can be a director or a managing director or the head of the firm. And your role is one, either to get the client or to get the investor, and to maintain the relations with these people so that the firm can do the business. And
So, would you prefer, would you say that, somebody who is starting off as an investment banker should start from a big uh, finance firm, or can also start from a boutique firm? I mean,
So there,
does it, yeah,
yeah. So I think both have their pros and cons.
okay,
I would say that you should go to a firm where see your when you are entry level, you are going to learn the ropes,
right.
right?
Hmm.
So you should make sure that the business that firm is getting a lot of opportunities which you can work for,
Okay.
and that should be your primary criteria.
Hmm.
That are you getting the right opportunities to work on and learn the ropes, right?
Okay.
Because beyond a point, investment banking can't be taught
Hmm.
in classes. You have to do it in the live markets, right?
Hmm.
So obviously, a larger firm is always useful to have a brand on your CV.
Hmm.
But eventually, if you haven't learned anything, it doesn't help you,
Right.
right?
But
So
in a boutique firm, you'll get to learn many other things, as in
yeah,
past
for all practical purposes,
right.
it's not going to be a large firm. So a lot of stuff, everything you will have to do yourself.
Hmm.
You're not going to have 20 people, for one deal.
Right.
And to that extent, you will get to learn a lot more by being hands-on.
Hmm.
As long as, of course, as I said, the boutique should be able to get business.
Right. Hmm.
The larger firms obviously find it more easier to get business,
Hmm.
and boutiques will need to have good people at the top
Okay.
for them to get the business.
There's a question about okay, MBA finance versus CFA. What's the difference? There are a lot of people who are actually still thinking if they really need an MBA in finance for investment banking.
So I would definitely believe that an MBA finance is, but I'm talking about MBA only from the big league,
Hmm.
not from a sort of a not sort of unknown college.
Hmm. Hmm.
So an MBA finance is a more well-rounded
Okay.
exposure to investment banking.
Okay.
Between the two, I would prefer that. Yeah.
Hmm. So if someone has a back office job, can they move from back to front office professionally? Because
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, or no?
In fact, yeah, it is. It happens all the time. Also depends on your personalities.
Hmm.
Some people are more outgoing. Some people are, sort of more aggressive.
Hmm.
The front office is a more outgoing role.
Hmm.
Requires you to constantly meet new clients.
Hmm.
You may have to be aggressive. You may have to be good conversationalists.
Hmm.
And all. So as long as you are comfortable with that part, there's no. In fact, everyone starts as an analyst in any case.
Okay. Hmm.
But those who are more comfortable with the outgoing roles, move to the front office. The others prefer the back office.
So since you're talking about skills, what kind of hard skills and soft skills necessary to excel as an investment banker? Do they really need to be extroverted to really excel as an investment banker?
For the front office, you definitely need to be you need to be a polished personality. You need to be able to impress clients. You need to be able to talk well. You also, obviously, your insights, your knowledge is reflected in how you talk to them. All that, and your understanding of markets, of businesses, of industries, all that counts.
Hmm.
So for the front office, definitely a good sort of outgoing, and competitive, because investment banking is extremely competitive. So you really have to be sort of outgoing in that, or pushy in that sense. The back office needs a lot of ability to do volumes of work, to turn around things quickly, to put in long hours, to be very analytical, to be able to sort of understand things very and capture things well, present things well. So it needs a lot of skill sets. You need to be understand of all rules, legislations, SEBI, so it requires a strong,
Maybe
knowledge.
research. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Hmm. So more research oriented and more detail oriented for the back office, and
Yes.
definitely one needs to be a very good having good communication skills and all that to be in the front. Okay, okay. So everyone knows that investment banking is a lucrative field. Entry-level jobs quickly provide good salaries. Is it true? And if it is, what are some of the typical challenges that come along with this, with the tour?
So, see, an investment banking sort of career is also can be quite volatile as well.
Okay.
Because investment banks make a lot of money when there is a boom, and suddenly when there is a recession or the capital markets are down, you have many investment banks which also shut shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could lose your job also far more frequently in an investment bank than, let's say, you could do in a large corporate.
Mm.
So it is in that sense a high risk, high return career. There is less stability in investment banks than there is in corporate careers. But if you are aggressive and you're willing to take the risk, then the returns in investment banking also tend to be good.
Okay.
Uh, you know, so but you have to have the stomach for volatility if you want to get into investment banking, because if tomorrow, as I say, if in COVID there is a crash, you could lose investment bank could or shut. So I would say that in 30 years I would have seen at least 4 cycles, where investment banks, I would say every 5 years, you would see in some investment banks laying off people, you
Okay.
know. So that is something that you should be ready for.
Okay.
Uh,
So a lot of people do take a lot of people who have completed MBA in finance, they sometimes choose corporate banking as in it gives them more security and all that instead of investment banking, which is more glamorous, but at the same time a lot of stress. Is it true, really? Corporate banking is less of a stress and more security?
so a bank job is definitely has more security of the job per se, because you don't see as many banks closing down, right? It would be a rare thing when a bank shuts down,
Hmm.
but the growth opportunity in a bank may also be a little more limited.
Okay.
And the other thing is, in a bank, you could also get transferred and move location frequently,
Okay.
which normally doesn't happen in an investment bank.
Okay. To know how important is CFA, and if that really opens up their
I wouldn't personally think that CFA. If you a CA or an MBA is always better for investment banking.
okay.
If you can't do both, then maybe CFA.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What do recruiters expect from a candidate in terms of skills when they go for an interview for investment banking?
The primary expectation is, one, a good personality, a good conversationalist who can sort of talk confidently, and two, an understanding of concepts, and the analytics, the industry analysis, and the concepts of finance. These are the two main things
Okay. As an engineering student preparing for CAT with no experience in financial or banking sector, what are the certifications or courses that I need to do to make my profile strong? And what will be your advice for engineering students as to how should we prepare ourselves for it while preparing for CAT?
No, I think one doesn't need to do. I think if you're an engineer, I think you get into an MBA, you learn the finance part of an in an MBA. In my view, that's good enough. You don't need to take additional courses.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy is asked about investment banking in India versus investment banking in US. Let me put it this way. In any career, if you get into the top, it always helps.
Okay.
So rather than evaluate investment banking in India versus US, I would evaluate where are you getting the job in investment banking. If you're getting into a top tier firm in the US, it is definitely better than, let's say, a top tier firm in India,
Mm.
because it's more rewarding.
Mm.
But if you are going to be in a second or third rung in the US, I would rather be in the top firm in India,
Right.
right?
Right.
So my view has always been that look, it's a huge ocean. Be the best of what you are doing,
Mm.
right? So if you join the best firm in pharma investment banking and become the farm best of our, that's good enough for you. Anyone, this it's a market that rewards expertise.
Okay.
So be the best where you can be, and that you will do well. So beyond a point, choose one niche. Obviously, India, US, debt, equity, whatever you're most comfortable with, and where you get the best opportunity, and
Okay.
then try and rise there.
How can an Indian get into the New York office of Goldman Sachs? As in, maybe,
Hmm.
we would like to know whether if you have to start from India, the Indian Goldman Sachs office to get into New York, or
No,
can
no,
one
no,
be
no,
hired?
no, no, no. So one of the things you must understand is that expertise is very region specific.
Okay.
So if you worked in the US, your experience is in the US.
Yes. Okay.
You wouldn't know as much about Indian markets. If you worked in Singapore and Hong Kong, your expertise is in the Asian markets. If you worked in Europe, your expertise in the those markets. So
Mm.
while everyone keeps track all over the world,
Mm.
it's the experience is not easily transferable. Although people under that, there will be firms which will be more than happy to, let's say, if you got experience in the US, then you try and find a role which is in India but related to US markets,
Mm.
and that's how we call that a lateral shift. You can, or adjacent market shift. So
Mm.
you can make adjacent market shifts, but it is a little more difficult to shift markets.
Okay.
It is easier to get a different job in the same market. It is more difficult to get a job in a different market.
Okay. And will technology affect investment banking, and how is it exactly affecting?
Yes and no. There is no direct relevance of technology in investment banking per se, because investment banking is essentially deal making. As I said, what you are trying to do is get an investor to put money in a corporate,
Right.
and so that is more a deal making skill. So you cannot have a technology to replace that. But obviously, investors and corporates can sort of deal with each other as well, and to some extent that does play some role. But beyond a point, you use technology in some form. A lot of, for example, in trading, you use algorithms to invest in markets and all. So in those areas, quantitative techniques and all, technology plays a much bigger role. Investment banking is a more a people oriented deal making kind of a business, where technology is less. I wouldn't say it is not there, but it is relatively less sort of
Okay.
disruptive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Again, there are a lot of questions about one should know financial modeling skill before getting into
No,
investment
anyway.
banking.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Before, no, but you don't need to know before getting into investment banking.
Hmm.
As long as you can sort of, you worked on Microsoft Excel,
Hmm.
somebody or the other will probably teach you that's at the analyst level. That's why I said, when you join a firm, make sure there is somebody who can guide you to teach, how it is to be done, and then you can learn how to prepare models.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Does poor past academic record hinders investment banking, a career in investment banking?
Uh, Conceptually,
Yeah.
no.
Hmm.
Conceptually, no. As I said, it's a question of the recruiter who it's up to him to decide what he will place more emphasis on.
Okay. Okay.
If,
So
but I would
yeah.
I would say that if you have a poor academic record, you better be a very very sort of impressive personality,
Right.
right? If you have a good personality, you can overcome a bad record. uh, uh, you know if you can talk well, if you are confident, if your communication skills are good, then you can overcome a bad academic track record.
Do freshers at the IIMs have a shot at IB roles in placements?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, how to get through the IIM interview? Yeah, can you speak a little bit about the how to build a profile when you're planning to pursue MBA in finance, so that they have a higher chance when they are there for the interview, for the personal interview.
See that this is a more this is really more about you than about anything else. And if at the end of the day, if you have pursued a few things with passion, it's your job to present that part of you to the interviewer, right?
Mm.
There are no fixed criteria on who gets selected and who doesn't get selected.
Right.
So basically, if you can demonstrate that, look, I am good in A, B, or C. It could be anything, right?
Mm.
And demonstrate your grasp over that subject. If you have a track record, if you won prizes, if you sort of participated, if you can talk fluently on whatever is your area of interest, those are the things that help you in any interview panel, you know.
Okay. I'm a swing positional trader done with engineering graduation and want to have MBA in finance. What job role or further you suggest to proceed with the
I
career
think
track?
you should pursue career in the asset management side, in terms of that's where your background is most relevant.
Mm.
So you can join uh, a hedge fund or a mutual fund, and basically get into the asset management side, you know. And knowledge about markets
Yeah.
is anyone who has a knowledge about markets is actually knowledge about markets is more important than knowledge about finance. But in any case, if you know markets, you will know finance, or rather you should be knowing. It's difficult to understand how you would know markets but not know finance.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's take some more questions. How do you rate risk management and M&A and wealth management in your order of preference? Is there any mechanism that you can help us to identify what is best for?
I would suggest that it's really dependent on your personality. Each business has a different career trajectory and involves different decisions, and has different pressures. In that sense, do what is best suited for you, rather than because eventually, if you love your job, you will excel at it, you know. So in that sense, if you are the back office type, if you are more interested in credit analysis and not interested in say competing for getting a client or a loan or something, right? Then a risk analysis is a steadier and a different sort of is probably more suited for you. Wealth management is basically dealing with retail individuals. They deal with high net worth individuals. Investment bankers deal with large corporates, large or small corporates, but basically they deal with companies, where wealth managers deal with individuals. So
Okay.
if you are the kind, and the hurdle for wealth management is lower than investment banking. So it might be easier for you to get a job as a wealth manager,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Then it is to get as a role as a investment banker.
Okay. Usually the front office roles get better rewards and incentives. Does having a career in the back office also give you rewards and incentives as much as the front office?
Yeah. So back office also gets, obviously the front office gets the much bigger, the lion's share of the PA. But front office jobs also are more riskier. So if you are not able to deliver, then you get laid off also as quickly. Uh,
Okay.
so
Okay.
back office, since it is not your job to bring in business, you don't unless the firm is sort of going down, you're not going to have that chance. So it's a everything is a risk return trade off.
Okay.
If you're a good front office guy, you'll make far more money than a back office guy.
Right.
But if you try to do it and you aren't good enough, then you could even lose your job. So
Okay.
so I would advise people to do what they are more comfortable and good at, and eventually over a period of time, if you are good and over a period of cycles, you will eventually do well.
Is it advisable to work for a few years as an analyst before getting an MBA and then become an investment banker? Or
There is no such. If the most important criteria you need to keep in mind is to getting into a good branded firm.
okay.
Right? If you're able to get it before doing an MBA, why not?
Mm.
And if not, get an MBA and then get into it, because your league and your experience matters in this sector.
Okay. And how much knowledge of stock market is important for in the during the interview for an investment banking position? In
Oh,
any firm?
it is for a job. You better be well versed with what's happening in the markets.
Okay. Okay. So let's take some more questions. Isn't MBA equally lucrative for both asset management and investment banking?
Yes. And many times asset managers make far more money than investment bankers. So,
Okay.
so there also asset management can be very lucrative. If you're a very good asset manager, some of the best asset managers make tons of money more than investment bankers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is it if someone is from MBA, if someone has run an MBA in marketing, can they become investment banker if they're good with numbers or if they have good
Yeah,
stock?
as I said, the front office role essentially is an origination role, which is more on marketing.
Okay. Okay.
I've seen a lot of people who were primarily marketing oriented, and they did a great career in investment banking.
Is CA better or MBA better for becoming investment banker? This keeps coming back, this question again and again.
Yeah, no, I think in my mind it's very clear. The CA is a more accounts and finance oriented education. MBA is a more holistic kind of education.
Okay.
But if you are a good CA, you are as good as a sort of. I don't think you are at a lesser footing. It really depends on what is your passion.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can somebody who has been a corporate banking in the field of corporate banking, can they jump to investment banking? I mean,
It's
or the
normally
other way around?
no, it's not very easy. But I have seen good corporate bankers with a lot of relationships may move to the investment banking side in terms of origination and front office. So if you are on the in a bank, where a corporate bank basically means your banks which give loans and all that. And so if you're dealing with the corporates, you know a lot of companies, and you can bring business to an investment bank, and you understand investment banking, then yeah, that switch is possible.
Okay. Yeah. So there is the question about can we switch from corporate side to investment banking after having 5 years of work experience in corporate?
It becomes more difficult. It becomes more difficult, honestly, because you don't have a track record. See, at the end of the day, investment banking firms are very lean. So you have to convince somebody that you can, deliver business immediately and all that. So if you haven't done that, it is difficult to. So it's not easy. But I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah.
I'm in BCom honors second year. I want to go in finance domain, and I'm planning to go for financial modeling and valuation course after graduation. Then work for some years and then do CFA or MBA. So is this right plan, or suggest me something else?
Yeah. Again, a course, and if you are interested in the capital markets, a course in financial modeling or valuation is always useful to broaden your horizons. But don't expect a job because you've done a course.
Okay.
Okay.
How investment banking is different from consulting?
So consulting is more business oriented. It's like advising in terms of, should I, enter, say the soap, should I bring out a new soap product and all? It could be completely unrelated to finance.
Okay.
It can be related to manufacturing. You are basically trying to advise a company on what to do next.
Mm.
Investment bank is a very, very specific focus, which is getting funds for a company. You know,
Mm.
consulting is a very much more wider domain.
I'm joining B School this year. Which course should I do before joining B School for investment
Why
banking?
do you don't need to do? I mean, when you do your B school, and you can come out and then apply for a job for investment banking. You don't need to do any additional courses if you are getting into an MBA.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Does the job of investment banking pay well?
My view in life is that if you do your job well, you will get paid well.
Okay,
At the end
yeah.
of the day, you are only as good as your job.
How can the next generation of MBA aspirants prepare themselves if they want to make a career in investment banking? Like, can you just give like maybe 2 or 3 tips for them, because that's our
So
audience.
the first tip is to please read the Economic Times every day. I
Mm.
mean, Economic Times or any financial newspaper,
Mm.
right? Because investment banking deals with business and markets,
Mm.
right? So you try and once your awareness about industries, your business and markets and business needs to go up.
Mm.
The second thing I would do is that you should start start buying and selling some shares,
Okay.
so that you understand it. You don't need to spend too much money. You can buy you can buy a share for $500 as well,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
But then you understand what analyzing a company and a share and a prospects are.
Okay.
So if you do these two things, and you could do these two things even while you are doing your graduation, while you're doing a BCom or whatever.
Mm.
If you do these two things, you will be ready for eventually for a career in corporate finance, investment banking, asset management.
Okay.
That yeah.
Mm.
So
Mm.
these are the two things that I would recommend that you should do.
Right, right. So before we wrap up, I would really like to thank all of our attendees and our speaker, Setan Jesha. Thank you so much for being here and answering so many questions and giving us an absolute insight into what investment banking and investment banker is all about. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thanks,
Ketan.
Lilani, and all the best to your all the students, and my personally all the best for your future.